me adjust that a little bit. Welcome to my stream. Hey guys, welcome to the stream for December 25th. Yeah, Merry Christmas everyone. Great to have you around. Thank you for joining. Also, if you watch the stream afterwards, thank you for just supporting by clicking this or doing that. I appreciate it. So yeah, I had a pretty calm Christmas, spent a little bit time with my parents, and that was it. Just a little bit time, and then I went home again. I watched a movie called Krampus yesterday evening. Hey Dave, Merry Christmas. Great to be back. Just talking about Christmas yesterday. I was with my parents a little bit because it's important that the family comes together right now. Both my parents aren't very healthy, so who knows how many Christmases we will have together. So it was important for me to go there. And yeah, today I'm back doing just my classic stream. Apart from that, I don't know. Yesterday on Christmas Eve, I got my divorce papers. They served me divorce papers on Christmas. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I'm fine with it. I was warned. My wife already warned me that something would be coming. So yeah, I was but I was surprised that they serve that they serve this kind of stuff on Christmas. It's just one of the experiences that you make in life. But okay, I'm okay. Someone who is not like mentally as equipped as I am might have probably had a bad time, but I was all right. So yeah, I posted about that yesterday and it completely blew up, and it wasn't even intentional, wasn't really something that I wanted to have. I just felt like the situation was so bizarre that I talked a little bit about it, that I just said, hey, this happened, got this on Christmas, and yeah, it just kind of blew up. It wasn't intentional. And today I made another post saying that this wasn't really planned, it just happened. You know how life is sometimes. The divorce has been happening for a year, I guess, so that it now happens to be on Christmas. It's just an accident. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you. I'm okay, thank you. I tried to find my Christmas sweater, and I found it, but it had these little bells on it, and I didn't want it to continue to constantly make weird sounds with every movement that I do on the stream. So I changed the sweater. But I tried to find something fitting for Christmas. So yeah. And apart from that, I'm just happy that it's a little bit calmer, that there's no post coming today that is bringing me another divorce paper or something like that. I'm just happy that today there's a holiday, nothing is open, and it's unlikely that someone will come over. I just need a little bit time to process everything from the last year. Actually, it's been a long year, so I'm just glad that now, from now on, I can restart next year, new beginning, that kind of stuff. Just looking forward to a new year. I just want to leave everything behind. Yeah, everything was such a bad year. Just hoping, being positive, looking at the new year as a chance to do something good. And that's how I approach it. Yeah, and I brought, by the way, different kind of seeds. Carrot seeds I brought tomato seeds. And these are old. These are very old, so they might not come up, but I want to try. I got this huge box with seeds, and I want to try out if some of them are still viable. Yep, a new beginning is what is necessary. I've been caught in this whole divorce thing for a year now, and at some point it just has to come to an end again. It's not even that I like that. I hate how this whole thing has happened with the divorce and separation. But at some point, you need to be able to leave it behind, to just move forward. I don't want to deal with that for the rest of my life, because every time I think about it, I feel bad. And even if I didn't do anything. I did everything right as far as I'm concerned. But you still feel bad about it. You don't want to have that thought about constantly being reminded that they should write a study about the way my marriage fell apart. It's like it was interesting in a scientific way already. They should really look into that and put it as a case file for what not to do in a I don't know. But I'm just glad when it's over. So yeah, and I brought seeds, like I said, tomato, carrot. Here's more tomato seeds, and these are at least 15 years old, so we will try it out. We will see if they are still viable or not, and most of them will probably not stay viable, be viable. But I found a few that are tree seeds, like stuff like acacia or eucalyptus. With eucalyptus trees, I feel like maybe we can give them some sort of a fire experience. I know that they are fire-loving trees, so maybe we can induce that to wake them up. I really hope that some of the tree seeds that I have, the older ones, they have a longer shelf life. So I will use boiling water to wake them up, and maybe something else. We'll see. But I wanted to tell you about it. So the cactus stuff will not stay the only thing that we will sow out on the channel. I want to start filling up the garden with brushes, bunch of fruit trees, and maybe a few nuts here and there. In 10 years, I want to have this garden at a point where everything is full of good stuff, where you can just go into the garden and have a snack, something like that. So we would sow out, but not today. I still need better soil. And yeah, so let me just get started with the seedlings, checking through the seedlings now. And I also brought some seeds that I want to clean, and I'm always happy to take questions. And if not, I would just continue to talk everything through. Just checking the containers again today. And these are different ones than yesterday. And also everyone who joined me, because I said everyone who doesn't know what to do, great to have you around, great to that you have found the way to the stream. I appreciate it. So yeah, I was out with Kami this morning. I tried to go out a little bit with Kami, but it's so cold outside that she didn't even want to go out. The cat looked outside and felt the cold come in and turned around again. So we are all inside today, just relaxing, watching movies. I'm putting a few movies onto the hard drive to watch. Want to watch a movie called Rare Exports. I haven't seen it before, so I'm looking forward to that. Hey, the name Cactus Jerk, I was talking about it, and it was just there. I like the name. I like the word jerk. Jerk is something that isn't really like a curse word. it is in a way a little bit, but you can also see it in a positive way, and I like that. Just like that attitude. I did a lot of memes at the time, and so it just happened. It just came up. I was going through a list of potential names that I could have used, and I don't even recall the other ones that I had. But the name really, it was something that was spontaneous. That it was important that that I can register the com domain, the domain name, so it had to be available, and a lot of the most common kind of names were already taken, and I didn't want to have that. I didn't want to use a name that I wouldn't be able to own. Like, and when I say own, I also mean it in the way that people will look at what I do and they know who it is. That kind of stuff. I wanted to have that kind of something that was original, and it could have been everything, but that name stuck because it was funny. And it always worked. Barely. Every now and then the name Jerk will be picked up by some kind of auto moderator, but for most of the time, it's okay. It's respected by the big platforms. If I would have taken something else that would have been just a little bit more like a curse word, then it might have not worked out the way it is, because right now the name can come up in an algorithm without it being a problem. So I'm happy about that. So yeah. And I realize I constantly come up with names that could also be funny. I really believe it. The name wasn't so important. You can just, if you are a character, it doesn't matter how you call your page. I mean, there are bad names that you should probably stay away, like something where you will never be able to be found, like Brand New, like the band Brand New, and the way they use that name, and eventually you couldn't find them on the internet, that kind of stuff. So, but the names aren't so important. Just be yourself, and the rest will follow. In the beginning, people looked at the name and who is that? You know. So yeah, it's definitely, it has a kind of negative, slightly negative connotation, and I don't know. I'm always someone who can laugh about myself. I'm able to always have a laugh, also at my own expense. So I felt like that name is fitting. But again, I could have used a different name. I don't think it would have changed a lot. What we are doing right now, I always had that kind of thing in mind, that I wanted to do something, and at some point the puzzle pieces fall into the right spot. It just happened. Okay, so yeah, seedlings here, looking great. No fungus gnats in this one. Every time I'm opening these up, I want to say welcome to the Fungus Gnat channel. We have a lot of great stuff today. It's just this year we had so many problems with fungus gnats. It has become a huge thing on the channel. Yeah, in Germany, Christmas is actually on the 24th, I believe. And it's not a holiday yet, not an official holiday, so people have to work. But people celebrate on the evening of the 21st, maybe around 6 p.m. on the 21st. That's how they do it in Germany. And I always heard that it's different in the United States. I guess over there, it's normal that in the morning when the kids wake up, they find all the presents, and it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. I'm not sure why they are so different. Probably it just evolved into different directions, or maybe one is more influenced by folklore than the other. I'm not sure. But I noticed that it's different because yesterday people were saying it's not even Christmas yet. But yeah, today here, yesterday it was already for us. Yeah, and I'm honestly, I'm really happy because my parents are spending Christmas together, and that's a huge thing, because they've been divorced for quite some time, and now that they are older, they kind of grew together again a little bit as friends. Not not how it used to be, but now that they are older and both have severe health problems, life kind of brought them together again a little bit, and I like that. I enjoyed that, being able to just spend Christmas at one place with my parents. It was a nice feeling again after not having it for quite some time. So yeah. Okay. So in this container here, this is the Humcus Roro container, and it's looking bad. Here's another seedling that I need to take out because it's genetically not able to produce chlorophyll, probably. Every now and then I see that one of the seedlings is gone, and the only way to avoid that would be by grafting the seedlings, and I'm not doing it. I don't want to have that barely alive kind of thing that doesn't even make it. It's like in the movie, this thing, something's barely alive, but I'm not having it. I'm not grafting all the time just to keep a plant alive. There's so many cacti. Okay, so this one I dropped apparently, and it looks good for that. You can only see that the soil is puffed up. So I'm kind of pressing it down again. Yeah, and I had a chat with my grandmother yesterday, who is almost 90. And yeah, every year that she's still here is a gift. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the seedlings look good. Nothing bad in here. Can't see any fungus gnats, and the soil is so dry. That could be the reason that the fungus gnats just don't find the right humidity to lay their eggs. Or maybe they can lay them, but they don't develop, at least not the way they did in other containers. Okay. Let's see. At some point in the middle, I will do some seed cleaning because I have a bunch here, and it's really a lot. I just want to get rid of the seeds. I've been having seed cleaning here on the channel for months now. At least that's how it feels. I don't know how other breeders do it with the seed cleaning, but to me, it never ends. There are always fruits to clean. It's just something that is part of every day. Okay, so here's a seedling that I want to take out because it looks bad. It already looks discolored, little bit transparent. I don't think it would make it, so we're taking it out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, apart from that, they are looking good. A little bit worried about the roots. There could be fungus gnat activity, but I at this point I haven't seen them, and I just want to be optimistic, so I'm closing that thing up. Hey, good morning. Great to have you around. Thank you for joining. Merry Christmas. It's a beautiful Christmas moment The only thing that is missing is someone singing Christmas songs, and I couldn't do that. But yeah, I'm trying to have a little bit of that winter feeling here on the channel too. I kind of like that. When you are inside and don't have to go outside, you have everything that you need. You're fully stocked on any kind of food that you need, that kind of stuff. I like that idea. Maybe I'm something like a prepper. That kind of a mindset. I kind of have that too. It just feels great when it's outside, when it's cold, you can just stay inside. I just don't believe people are made to go out in winter all the time, every day, and work 10 hours every day. That's just not how we evolved. At some point, you need to recover from the year. And this is a mess, by the way. I opened this one up and it's so full of fungus gnats that we will have to transplant them right away. And I have never seen so many fungus gnats come out of one pot. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. So I'm transplanting them right away. I will not allow this to happen. Because the seedlings still look good. There's still potential. I had lunch with my parents yesterday. In Germany, where I'm from, they always celebrate Christmas on the 24th, or at least that's the main day when it's celebrated. There's also today and tomorrow as the holidays. The days are work free. You don't have to work on these days, and a lot of people also have gonna have bridge days in between Christmas and New Year's Eve. So yeah, but the main day, the big day where you get the presents, is actually yesterday evening, the 24th, on the evening, maybe around 6. Yeah, and my parents made raclette. That's some sort of a cheese, where you melt cheese. And I was there for a few hours. Yeah, and then I spent time with Kami again, so Kami doesn't have to be alone. I didn't want her to be alone on Christmas either. So yeah. I'm not really doing much this year, but the fact that I've been spending time with my parents, it was really important for me. I was at a point in my life where I was so unhappy about not having spent many important dates with my parents. Just when I was married, spend a lot of time with my new family, basically. And now, in looking back, I wish I would have done it differently. At the time, it felt like I was building a family of my own. And yeah, but I always regretted not having spent more time. Now that they are older, I see life just kind of flying by, and I want to spend a little bit more time with them for as long as I'm still able to kind of turn the wheel around a little bit, because I noticed that I was becoming increasingly unhappy with how I had lived. And yeah, it was important to at some point course correct and change something, because I was seeing myself in 10 years from now unhappy, old, unhappy, without anyone that, like, once at some point you lose your parents and all, and then you start to regret a lot of things, and I didn't want to do that. So the whole year I've already kind of changed a little the way I live, and it was good that I did it. Who knows how my life would have gone if that thing with the divorce and all wouldn't have happened, So I'm glad the way it is right now. So yeah, and apart from that, I'm just looking forward that there's a new year at some point, something to leave behind. When I was 24, it never really made sense to me that I would be in a position where I have immense regrets. That is something that only comes later in life once you realize how limited time becomes later on. It goes so fast. In the last year, I felt like time has been flying away. And I didn't have that when I was 24, for example. At the time, life was different. You know, you had all these chances, you have all the time in the world to do right, to make peace with everyone, to just not get to a point where you eventually grow old and regret that you lived that way. And I felt like it was going like that a little bit for me. I had a lot of regret this year. And yeah, that is something that I didn't have when I was younger. I guess you notice how fast it goes eventually. I still remember when I was 24. It feels like it was just around the corner, just recently. And it has the older you get, the faster it goes. They say that a lot, that time just passes differently when you are older. And I never really believed it until I experienced it. It feels like you are just flying through the day. One moment you are here, and the next it's a week later, a month later, or a year later. Yeah, I'm living pretty much the way I want to. But I also have realized that I don't want to be in a situation where I'm so unhappy with what I did. You know, every now and then you also have to do stuff just because you have to. I always did what I wanted to. I'm never that kind of a family guy that spends a lot of time, that goes out to eat all the time, that goes places to eat fancy foods and that kind of stuff. I'm not like that. So I always lived the way I wanted. And the older I get, the more I realize I also need to other things are equally important, like the time that you have with your family. Not all family is equally valuable. You know, sometimes we get born into a family and we can't choose. So sometimes you are just in the wrong spot. But if you have a family that you really love, then it's also important to sometimes do stuff for them. And it's not only for them, it's also for yourself. When you are older, you look back and you know you did everything right. You spent these important times with family, and that is what I had learned in the last years, maybe in the last year or two. Up until recently, it wasn't that my parents were so sick. And once they have health problems, it just becomes more clear to you that this will come to an end eventually. And life can be long. The future is long. So eventually, at some point, we are alone, or we might be alone. And when that happens, I don't want to have any more regrets. I've had a lot of regrets by now, and it's enough. I want to move forward. That's why I changed the way with Kami. That's why I go out with Kami every day. Because she's already so old, and when in 10 years, when I look back, I don't want to look back and hate myself for not being there for the cat when she needed me, when she had a few more years that where she could have had a great time. That's the kind of stuff that I'm currently trying to do. Maybe I was too selfish when I was younger, and I'm trying to change that a little. Okay. Yeah, this is a huge. These are a lot of seedlings that I'm taking out of this thing, and there are still maybe 50 left. We'll see how many of them will eventually make it. I don't think a lot of them. It just looked too bad with the fungus gnats when I opened this thing up. Yes, it's never too late. That's right. I mean, it can be too late, but right now, I feel it's happening. It's happening at exactly the right time, like it was supposed to happen. I was on a bad road a few years ago while I was married. I'm still married, but I mean, while I was still normal in a normal relationship, marriage and all that, and I had noticed that life wasn't really good. I wasn't really happy. I was unhealthy, and I mean really unhealthy. And that kind of, once you're in a relationship, that kind of stuff changes your opinion on life. So I'm just glad that some things changed for the better. Some of the good things that came from the way my marriage collapsed. Sometimes people are just not compatible. That's what I sometimes think. Maybe I'm just not compatible for a relationship. I'm an intense guy. I mean, you see it on the channel, and I wouldn't want to live with myself probably. Yeah, that's the new intro that I'm doing with all the fungus gnat problems. At least in in every episode, I might say that this is the fungus gnat channel. They're just everywhere at this point. But yeah, we still have way too many seedlings. It's not a problem. It's just we are creating real life setting. It would be totally boring if everything would be going all right. If there were no problems. This shows you how to react to the problems. We're transplanting them now. And at a stage when I should actually not transplant them, but we have nothing to lose. You also lose by leaving them around. And so another thing that we will do is I brought neem. I want to spray the seedlings, and I want to spray 1 or 2 containers of seedlings just to look how it changes the seedlings, if we will lose them or not. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it's already 2 containers. This thing will multiply so fast. We will run out of space so fast. I can't even tell. There are a lot of seedlings in this thing that look like they are already gone. So yeah, and yesterday, yeah, I was posting on Facebook that I got my divorce papers yesterday, and the whole thing blew up. The whole thing got so many people commenting, and I felt really sorry because I didn't want to. I'm okay, you know. It's totally okay. At some point when life gets weird, you experience the weirdest stuff, and it was just one of those crazy moments that was like comedy, you know. At some point tragedy becomes funny because of how absurd it sometimes is. That's how I felt yesterday. So I'm okay. I'm just looking forward to the new year already. Okay. There's some of the smaller seedlings, and I'm not sure if I'm even supposed to transplant them. They are just beyond life and the other side, you know? But I want to give them a chance. We will lose a bunch of them anyway, so whatever makes it has the heart in the right place. This will be the first test in life. Okay. Just trying to find the label. Here's nothing. I know that one or two I forgot to put the label in. This could be one of them. But it shouldn't happen. Normally, if this would have happened to another breed, I would say that's very unprofessional. But then again, it happens to everyone. You see it. I don't care. It's just bad in the moment for the breeder, because these are almost certainly uvocala seeds. So I would love to have the label with them, and I'm sure I will find it eventually. When they are bigger, I will be able to tell which cross they came from. But for now, it has to remain nameless. It is 1 out of 100 or 2 out of 100 now, but that's okay. Yeah, we'll be okay. I'm okay. I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm coming out of the marriage with as little damage as I do. I see that a lot of people that got married and where it didn't work out, things got really ugly, and I'm just thankful that it isn't like that for me. I'm also not the type of guy that argues with ex-partners, that argues with someone that you used to love. I don't want to do that. I'm not that person. I don't want to have any kind of argument. I just want to leave this behind. So yeah. Relationships constantly fail. It just happens. I really believe people aren't made to be together long term, like such a long time. It can happen sometimes that everything goes great, but in most cases we are just made to move on and to look for new adventures. I guess that's on a biological way, if you look at it from that point of view. These are cactus seedlings that I planted in the last couple of months, and we were sowing out. They are in these kind of closed bags, and every now and then I need to take them out of the bag because something happens. In this case, it was fungus gnats that completely attacked the roots. Fungus gnats are little flies, look a little bit like fruit flies, and they damaged the seedlings a lot, so I had to take it out of that soil. And now I'm putting it in a mineral medium in washed pumice. And yeah, in that new medium, the fungus gnats will probably not have a chance again. But it's a lot of work, takes a while, and you constantly lose the washed pumice. It rolls out of the pot at the bottom. That's what I mean when I say you're always exposed to minerals when you're working with this stuff. So yeah. It's not so easy to stay together for a very long time. I always wanted it to be that it works. I'm some sort of if you look at it just strictly, I'm some sort of a romantic, the way I look at life. And I had hoped that this would work. But I'm also not surprised that it didn't. because I know how difficult it is to stay together for 10, 15 years and still keep a very happy marriage and all. That's just difficult. And maybe I'm incompatible. That's how I see myself right now. I just don't feel like when you are in a relationship, you're always making sacrifices, and I'm not making sacrifices anymore. I've made enough. The way this went, I made a lot of sacrifices, and it brought me nowhere. It really didn't. I didn't feel like me making I feel like me making sacrifices made it worse. Sometimes you need to do what makes you happy deep inside, and I'm trying to learn how to live with myself first, be happy with myself, and that is already difficult enough. You first need to love yourself before you can be with someone else in a relationship again. At least that's how I approach it, and I'm not seeing that happening very, very soon. So yeah, but I'm making progress with the seedlings here. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. Thank you for joining. Always happy to take questions if you want to know something. If not, I'm just talking through with the seedlings that I'm transplanting here. It's not easy because they are actually a little bit too small. But for now, it will work. And later I gotta remove all the washed pumice that is now flying around here. I really don't like it. I'm only doing it because it's the medium that is so much more resistant against fungus gnats. We can either use a pesticide on the seedlings that have the fungus gnats, or transplant them. And before I'm using a fungicide, not a fungicide, a pesticide, insecticide, before I'm using something like that, I first try to transplant. It's just a safer way. Any kind of chemical that we use against any kind of pest can become a problem. Sometimes the seedlings just melt. I was born in Saarland, Germany. So yeah, actually a Saarländer is what a born Saarländer. Okay. So I'm transplanting the other ones. I just put the thing around it first. Greetings. So, yeah, once I'm done with this one, I will move to the seeds. I will first clean this up here, and then I will move to the seeds. Just have so many seeds that I want to clean. But something always happens. Okay. Let me see here. Little bit water. And then we will seal it up again. So the seedlings were originally in a very organic soil. And it's one fungus gnat was enough to get that thing completely out of control. And I had to take them out of that soil, out of that organic soil. I would have loved to keep it in that soil a little bit longer. But when I opened it up, I had a wave of little flies that came out. And that's just the stuff that happens when you're sowing out sometimes. You can avoid that by pasteurizing the soil. Would have worked if we had actually done it, but that would have meant it's a lot of work. And yeah, I didn't think it was important. You know, it's not that that we're now doing 5 times the work, but okay, you live and learn. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you get soil that is just spoiled, that is contaminated already. So yeah. And right now with the transplanting, a lot of them will be all right. Hey, Merry Christmas to Norway. How cold is it right now? I hope it's not too cold. I always envision Norway like a place with a really, really cold winter. Like minus 25 or something like that. Is it like that right now? Over here it's really cold, so it's not that we normally have a mild winter, but right now it's pretty cold. It feels colder than it is. I was watching Krampus today, this morning and yesterday. It's just one of my favorite movies on Christmas, one of my favorite Christmas movies. I'm 100% sure that in the next 15-20 years, Krampus will become another Christmas classic like Gremlins became one. I'm sure of it. The movie is already running every time. Oh, that's great. It's roughly the same kind of temperature range in Germany, but it feels so cold. Okay. Let me see. There's so many seedlings. Every time I feel like I'm done, I find new ones that also need to be placed into the soil. If I would count them now, I guess it's at least 40 seedlings in this one container. And that's too much. Not good. It's just too many. Eventually, we will run out of space. Just 5 cacti will become huge at some point. Okay, almost done here. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I actually heard another person in the stream that also said they got COVID. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear. I hope it is over soon. I got pretty ill when I got it. And when my mother got COVID, she almost, I thought she doesn't make it. It was really bad. And I'm very happy that she recovered. Didn't think at the time like it was so bad. But since then, it has changed. It's a different strain today than what we got in the beginning. And at the time, my wife was working in the medical sector and was a little bit exposed. So every time a new strain came around, we got it too. So yeah, I'm sorry. I feel that a lot of my friends, I've read 1 or 2 that have talked about long-term problems, and others that said they didn't feel anything at all. So we'll see. I'm sure it will be all right. Right now, the strains are a lot milder, I guess. Just make sure you are not getting some sort of a, like, you know, I don't know how they call it. I can't spell the word pneumonia, you know? Okay, this is it. I can close these up. And I'm pretty positive that the fungus gnats will not be able to come back with this kind of mineral soil. Now I just have to remove that here. Let me see if I have some sort of a brush. I hate it. I want to have a clean table here. Okay. So let me just dump this. Okay. So now I want to clean some more seeds. I brought cactus seeds that I cleaned last summer. And now it's time to start with sowing out and everything. Maybe I shouldn't have put the dirt into this thing. Okay, let me see. So I dried the seeds on a paper towel. They are from the fruits that we harvested during the season. Made crosses in every video. And now it's finally the time to start sowing out. And I'm just scraping the seeds off the paper towel now and clean everything up a little bit to make sure that the seeds are clean enough to sow them out. This here is from a cross between Wörlitz and Cantora Gelb. Classic kind of hybrid, originally made by Reinhard Liske. The cross that produced pink stripes, some legendary kind of hybrids. And I repeat that cross every now and then just to play around with it. Or sometimes I replace one of the parents with a different but rather similar kind of hybrid. There's a lot of potential in that cross. Wörlitz and Cantora Gelb. It's always a winning kind of combination. You can also have a lot of seedlings that are disappointing, but the bunch of really good ones will blow you away. You just have to grow a lot of seedlings from that cross. If I would have to guess, I would say that maybe from 100 seedlings, maybe 5 have an amazing world-class kind of flower, and the other 95 are somewhere in the middle. So it can be worth it to just grow 100 seedlings just for those 5 good ones. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, cleaning up a little bit here. So, and these were crossed with a hybrid that has Buena Vista and Candicans in it. Interesting combination because that other hybrid influences the shape of the petals. It has a very interesting petal shape. Really nice kind of, it passes down a beautiful flower in the next generation. Maybe 200 seeds, not a lot, but enough. Like I said, maybe sometimes you need to grow 100 seedlings. But there are also crosses where one seedling can be enough, where you only have one plant and that one plant is amazing. You never know. And these are from 2025. I'm slowly but steadily making progress with the cleaning of the cactus seeds. Okay, next one. And again, always happy to take questions. If you want to know something, I'm more than happy to comment. And Merry Christmas to everyone who has found us from outside. You found yourself in a cactus stream, and we're just friends here. So great to have you around. Okay, so this is Ulf Meerbold, Sörensia telegonoides hybrid. And the seeds are not well cleaned. I can already see that. So I'm trying to clean it up a little bit more afterwards. But this was one of the plants that blew everyone away this year. When I recorded the videos and when I posted the videos, this plant looked amazing. So I'm glad that we got so many seeds. I think I had 6 or 7 fruits on just one plant. Okay. Just trying to sort out the seeds from the other stuff that came into the mix here. I've been running everything through a sieve, and once you do that, at some point you always have a little bit of fruit pulp that's left that you have stuck through the seeds, and I'm cleaning that out now. Maybe we're doing a second water cleaning under the sieve, but for now it's okay. I just want to do it manually for now to get out the worst, and then later can always decide to do another run. Okay. Maybe 250 seeds, 200, 250 this time. Not a lot, but I was so impressed by this plant, by seeing it. The flower was apricot, kind of terracotta-like kind of color, and it looked great. The plant had to be a little bigger. I've been waiting for the flowers for a few years now. And this year, when it flowered, it had 7, 8 flowers at once, and it looked so impressive. I'm sure people will be happy that the plant has produced some viable seeds here. I mean, we're not sure if they are viable yet, but they look pretty all right at the moment. I would be surprised if they aren't viable. A lot of crumbs and dust, little crumbles of broken seeds, whatever. And I always want to get that out of the seeds. When it's time to sow out, this stuff needs to be clean. There can't be anything that that causes problems later on. The more you put into a bag when you are sowing out, the higher the likelihood that something contaminates it. Sowing out is just something where you need to work pretty clean. Everything that gets into the container when you're sowing out will become a huge problem later on. You've seen it. I just had to transplant into a mineral soil just because we got fungus gnats. So Here is one. So it's often good to prevent any kind of problem. Today we have a really big kind of audience, and I appreciate it. Just great to have, you know, sometimes we just show up on the radar, and that is great. It's a great sign, because this is a great hobby, cactus growing. And also, like I said, I brought tomato seeds, I brought carrot seeds, a bunch of eucalyptus trees that I want to sow out. We will be sowing out other stuff too sometime soon. I need to look into every one of them to find the right kind of depth that they are planted in, and treatment. But we will be growing other stuff in the next weeks. I like that. When I was younger, the plant lamps, the classic grow lamps, they weren't so good. You couldn't, 10 years ago, you just couldn't grow plants the way you can do it now. At least not without having a huge electricity bill. So today, we're suddenly in a situation where I feel like maybe we can grow a bunch of vegetables inside pretty effectively. So I want to try that out. Could be great. Could be fun. Okay, yeah, mostly done here. And I constantly sort out viable seeds. Just difficult to clean without water. This is already the second cleaning cycle. First, I cleaned them under running water, just with a sieve. Pressed all the pulp through the sieve, and what was left were the seeds. And yeah, but they weren't clean. They weren't perfectly clean. So this is already the second cleaning round that we're doing. Sometimes I'm also doing another one with water. But it's a lot of work. If you clean all of them twice, this year I maybe had 250 fruits, maybe more. And if you have to clean them twice, you're constantly busy. Okay. I'm confident that this can be bagged up now. I'm okay with it. So Ulf Meerbold, Cerensea, Telegonoides hybrid. Nice big flowers. The color was hard to describe. It looked a little bit like orange, but also apricot. And I don't know. When I look at the color, I can't tell you what the name of the color is. I'm not like there are people that look at something and will tell you this is Delfter Rosa, like rose colored from Delft, whatever. People can look at any kind of color and know what it is, but I don't. I look at it and say, okay, this is orangish. And there might be 20 different colors in between that I'm not even seeing. I can't tell you. So for me, the color looked orangish, terracotta. I call it everything because I have no way to 100% tell you the exact color. I often have people that do it in the comments. Then they write in the comment, hey, you said something like the color is red, but it's actually lilac or whatever. It's just something I have difficulties with that. So Okay, and it was the 4th fruit on that plant. I already wanted to sort that plant out. When it flowered this year, I seriously considered sorting it out. These hybrids need to get a little bit bigger than classic Cantora. And that's why a lot of breeders, really experienced breeders, don't work with them. They just need to be too big. They get pretty big, and it just adds a few more years to the development when you have to grow them on a regular basis. But it can be worth it. In my opinion, I was blown away. It was very impressive. It looked great. I think I waited 7 years for the flowers. And I already had a pretty big plant, maybe this big. And when the plant flowered, it was somewhere around, it went to my chest. So maybe 1 meter and, I don't know, 20 centimeters, something like that, or 30 centimeters. Was already pretty big. And the plant looked a little bit like a Spachianus. If you would post that plant on a plant forum, on a plant group to ID it, people would identify it as Spachianus probably. It's one of the rarest species that you just don't know so often. Okay, and the seeds that I have here, this is Paul Ehrlich. This is a Gräser hybrid or Gräser follow-up hybrid. That's usually what I mean when I say Gräser hybrid. The original Gräser hybrids, they are from the 1950s. Robert Gräser was a breeder in Germany. And those hybrids came out 1955 or so. Gräser's Schönste, something like that. Pretty old hybrid. And today we have a lot of follow-up hybrids that involve Gräser genetics, but they aren't strictly speaking, they aren't Gräser hybrids. Gräser hasn't done hybrids since he passed away in the 80s maybe. I would have to look it up, but the man was pretty old, I think. Okay. Later today, I will see if I can catch a rerun of Kevin, like Home Alone. If I can watch that movie again today, we'll see. I just felt like I was seeing an interview with Macaulay Culkin that I seen yesterday, where he talked about growing up and his child, how he had all these terrible experiences growing up, and he didn't want them to become the experiences that his son also has, or his child. And I respected that. I really respected that. And that's why I want to watch the movie again, just for old time's sake. But I really liked that. It was really great to see that Macaulay Culkin has long-term built a good life. I know it can be very difficult when you haven't learned it, when you haven't had these good experiences at home that you often see all the other people have. When you look around, you see so many people being happy, having happy family life and all. And it's just not like that for everyone. So I'm just happy for the guy that he turned it around after having after being disadvantaged. I know how that feels. Okay. Yeah, and later I want to watch Rare Exports is another movie that I want to watch. I haven't seen it before, but someone recommended it. And I know that I wanted to watch it for years. I might have even watched it maybe 20 years ago, but I don't recall. Okay, yeah, Paul Ehrlich this here. Interesting kind of flower color. Very bizarre kind of rose-colored flower. But very hit or miss. In some years, the flower just doesn't look nice. This year, it flowered with 3 flowers, and I didn't like it at all. I barely recorded it when it happened because I felt like the colors fell flat. Okay. And again, I appreciate it that so many people have participated in the stream and all. I love that. Feels great to just have a little tradition that I'm holding on to. And I'll be around for the rest of the day also, for the next 10 hours or so. So happy if you, like, I don't know, if you don't know what to do, just write a comment and I might get back. I'm happy to spend some more time later. I actually wanted to do more live streaming yesterday evening, but I was completely exhausted. I had just gotten my divorce papers on the Christmas evening, and I was just tired yesterday, so I couldn't do it anymore. But I'm back today, and I'm glad to be back. Okay. Think I'm mostly done here with the cleaning. There's a spine here that shouldn't have even gotten to that point, but sometimes they just slip through. And maybe 300 seeds of Paul Ehrlich. And the father was, I think, pink stripes. I wanted to have something that has ruffled flowers and the color of pink stripes. That is the goal with this cross. We'll see how it goes, but I see potential. So far, I've seen a bunch of seedlings from Paul Ehrlich crosses, and some were great, some weren't. It just needs the right partner. With the right partner, this could be great. I also wrote down what kind of a parent this has. So I think this one was pink stripes. Then I did one with Paul Ehrlich and a Lobivia. And the fruit was tiny. When you're using something like a Lobivia in a hybrid cross, it also affects the size of the fruit. Okay, so this one here, pink stripes. Nice. And this one got a ruffled father. Also, this year when I had pink stripes, I very often try to get something ruffled from it. Because the color is already good. And the only thing we need to improve is the color. The only thing we need to improve is stuff like shape. You can you can maybe get ruffles on top of the pink stripes color that you always have. Okay. But very few seeds, maybe 200. Okay. Just trying to clean out the unviable seeds that are always included. Every now and then you just have the flat kind of seeds that you don't need. Just take them out. They just waste space and they bring in additional risk. Okay. Here's a viable seed. I always sort them out and then I look back and they look viable when I look at them. Sometimes it's hard to tell, and you always have to feel them. Always have to look into the structure of the seed. If it's just flat, it's nothing, but if it's a tiny round thing, then there's potential that it could grow. Okay. And over here we have more seeds of fungus roro. These were the ones that had a lot of variegated seedlings. Okay. I have a few different plants of pink stripes. By now it's maybe 10. I don't know. I have a few. And a bunch of them turned out to be something else. So be careful when you buy something on a marketplace site like eBay. Very often they sell you something and it often takes years until you see the flower. And when you see the flower, it becomes clear you got something completely different. That just happens a lot. And since it's often so many years until you notice, you no longer know who the original source was. Happened a lot with pink stripes in particular. I had two different plants from two different sources, both saying pink stripes, and in both cases it was something different. I'm not sure why. But the reason is usually money. Okay. I have a pretty big plant of fungus roro. Fungus roro is a multi-hybrid between Echinopsis and Hildewinterer. And the plant that I have is already this big. It's pretty big. And it produces a good 10, 15 fruits every year. But so far, I haven't really grown anything substantial from it because the offspring is often so unhealthy. So we'll see. But there are seeds every year from it, reliably. Last year, I repotted the plant to give it a better treatment, better life and all. So maybe next year it will be even better. The body of that plant is also more Echinopsis-like. It is a Hildewinterer hybrid, and you can kind of see it in the flower. But in regards to the body, I'm mostly seeing Echinopsis. And the seed size like I said in some of the earlier streams, you can see the vague relationship in the size of the seeds. You can kind of tell the difference between Sörensia seeds that are tiny and bigger seeds like Echinopsis and Trichocereus. So you can already see when you look at the seeds here that the Echinopsis played a big part in the genetics. They're just bigger seeds. Also bigger than Cleistocactus seeds. Feel like it's time for Christmas spirit again a little bit. Just for a moment. Okay. That's enough. Don't want to overdo it. Got to use the Christmas spirit sparingly. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost done here. These are looking okay-ish. Not clean. But I don't have high expectations right now. I'm easy to please right now. I'm just glad when the seeds are no longer on the paper towel. Some of them still have a little bit of pulp left to them, dried pulp. But it's not bad. Okay. Later today, I need to clean up my desk again. The pumice is already everywhere. And it made such a great example for why I don't like it. No matter where you work, if you have pumice, it comes through the cracks. It will fall out of the pot. It will surround you. When I look at the side, I put the seedlings for a second. I put them down there, pumice on the ground. And it's just, you work around it all the time. And then you crush it, you kind of breathe in the dust. I don't want that. So long term, I'm going more towards organic gardening. Just using the washed pumice for the seedlings, because the seedlings really need perfect drainage. Okay, Humkes Roro, hybrid between Hildewinterer Noller 2 and Mutter der Halbgefüllten. Okay. I'm really looking forward to growing them. So it says here that you plant the carrots, you plant them out in February to April. And the label says the bag is enough for 1,000 plants. That's nuts. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I'm just going through the seeds that I brought today. So the viability, it says viability on the back. And it says that the date was 2000, from the year 2000. That's when I bought them, and I haven't planted them yet. I'm pretty sure they are not viable anymore. But I want to try it out. Sometimes you never know until you try. I have tried different tree seeds, and trees are a little bit more long-lived, and they had been viable for 20 years or so. And I also tested Areocarpus seeds, and I've seen Areocarpus seeds that were viable, that were 100 years old, literally 100 years old, where someone had found them in an old book and they came up. So sometimes there are a lot of seeds that will become unviable within a few months, but sometimes not. So we will try it out. So these are for 2013. We'll see. Okay, guys, I guess I will probably end the stream very soon. The moment I'm getting towards 1.5 hours, I usually get the message from my smartphone that it's overworked, that it needs a break. So, but yeah, it's great to be around. Great to have so many people around on Christmas. I appreciate it, guys. If you don't know what to do, I'm here. I would spend the day just watching Christmas movies. So let me know. And if not, I hope you have a great time with your families or alone, whatever you are doing. Just make the most of it. Have a great time. Great positive day. Let the stress of the world outside for a few days. Okay, this is Winteriana, Ika, and Dessau. I had the first flower, I guess, on the channel this year of this hybrid. Winteriana crossed with Ika, Dessau, and Gräsers Überraschung. Flower was nice, looked a little bit similar to Lobivia, but it had something unusual. I really liked it. So the first seeds from this new hybrid. Okay, and the others we will do next time. Okay, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, and I will be back. I'm not sure when, but probably tomorrow, definitely around the same time. And if not, you will find me. You will find me online. I will be posting flower videos again for the day. I still have a bunch that I want to upload, and I also have a good 50 videos that are already uploaded. So there's a lot of stuff coming for the channel, and I'm always happy to answer questions if you want to know something. So happy Christmas, everyone. I will be back. Thank you for being here. Until the next time. Merry Christmas. Thank you again, right?